Good morning. Good morning, friends. Good morning, family. Facebook, if you're new, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. And thank you for tuning in to the Tuned In Live Show with Linda Krause Barnett. Who am I, you ask? Okay, so I am the founder of Compass Productions, which is a multimedia company, and I am a partner in Let's Get Virtual, which is a company that is intended to help you author and create digital products and launch your virtual business. I am also a co-host of Soul Seekers TV with Patricia Rivera Wolfson, and I am the author of a book called Reboot Your Life, Bring Back Your Spark. And so every day, Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, you're going to tune in to the Tuned In Show, and we're going to tune in to a different concept, content, frequency, vibration. Every day we're going to tune into something a little bit different. And today, my guess is that you're tuned in to my crown. This beautiful crown was made for me last year at Halloween by one of my very best friends, Amy Niccolo Jones, and it's so beautiful. And today I decided to wear it because it's very related to a wonderful, magical story that I'm going to share with you today. So welcome. Let me know you're here. Comment below. I'm trying to tune in on my phone because for some reason on my computer I don't ever get the comments. But I am here and I will try and see your comments on my phone. Let me know where you're from. Say hello so that I can interact and share this beautiful message with you. So I would like to start with a quote related to grace. And this is kind of an author unknown. I found it. It hit my heart really deep. I couldn't figure out who wrote it, so it may just be one of those sayings, but it's really potent and powerful. Grit determines that life's challenges will neither defeat nor define us. Grace gives us kindness to ourselves and others, even when it is hard. And I don't know, but quotes, affirmations, intentions, those things just speak the language of my soul. You know, poetry, anything that just takes a big message and puts it into just a few beautiful words has always really resonated with my soul. So I'm just going to repeat the quote one more time and let me know if you're here, let me know if you're watching. So today's quote says that grit determines that life's challenges will neither defeat nor define us, right? We will not be defined nor defeated by our challenges. Grace gives kindness to ourselves and others, even when it is hard, right? And so I wanted to just share a little, growing up, grace was a word that I always thought was beyond my capacity to reach. And so when I said the word grace, I had these visions of something unattainable for me. I pictured someone really tall and absolutely beautiful who had it all together. You know, when a woman walks almost like she's floating on air, right? She just has this air about her. She has this presence about her where it seems as if like either she doesn't have any problems or she has problems, but they're all under some sort of divine control. And she's graceful and she's classy and she's beautiful. And those were all the synonyms that I defined grace to be. And so I always thought it was a little bit outside of my reach, right? Because I'm a little bit vivacious, I'm loud, I'm a little chaotic, I'm all over the place. And so how could I be graceful? And as I grew older, doorbell. Okay, pause 1 second. Hi, you have my package?
Hi. Are you Linda?
I am.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Are you the original ones that came in here? I bought this.
We bought this in 2009.
I saw this
Yeah.
from Pat. I was
Yes.
like, what? I kids are the same ones that are in there.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. You know, when you're live, it's life. When you're live, you get real life. So For those of you who are just tuning in, there was a lost package of mine in the neighborhood, and it actually went to my neighbor's house, so she just delivered it. So if you didn't see me, if I disappeared, live is life, and I went to answer my beautiful neighbor at the front door. So what I was going to say is, I was explaining to you this image I had of grace, this unattainable image that I felt was beyond my reach, right? And then as I got a little older, new definitions kind of came into my field, right? Because the older we get, when we're young, we're given a definition that's basic, one that people feel is developmentally appropriate to explain a concept to us. And then as we get older and we have experiences and we have new information, we add to that definition, right? As we have more experience, more programming sometimes, we start adding to the word and what it means to us based on what we've lived. And so as I got a little bit older, I started to understand grace, because if you look up grace, if you Google grace, the first 3 pages of Google are religious definitions of grace, right? Because we talk about the grace of God. And so that is very often a word that signifies something divine, something that comes from God. And so very often there's a disconnect, like, can I control grace? Can I create grace? Can I have grace? Or is it something outside of my reach? And that is one thing I wanted to tune into today, because it's a word that's been coming up a lot, and I think that it's super important because, like all things on this planet, God has infused us, if we can think it, if we can imagine it, if it's even something we are aware of, then it can be ours, right? He's given us the key to every single door we could possibly imagine. And so, of course, that grace is included in that, right? And like all things, it comes from up above. So the definition, the dictionary definition, and I'm always telling you the dictionary definition for a couple reasons. Number one, I want to really set a paradigm and like give you a true, like, not just my own definition, but also what the going definition is. And then I want you to do what I ask you to do on all things, which is question everything. Don't let anything go without question. And so ask yourself, does this definition apply to me? Is this the definition that if someone came and asked me, if someone didn't, from another planet came and said, what is grace? Would I define it as this? Does this work for me, for my life, for my spirituality, for my framework? And if not, then I encourage you to start creating and defining what words mean to you, because words are wands and they're super powerful and potent. And when you use them, you want to have really strong beliefs behind them and really strong intentions. So if you don't like the definition that is given to you on a word, then you are free to create one that makes sense for your life, for your soul, for your spirit, for your mind, for your body, because we are beings of free will. So the dictionary definition, and this one blew my mind, because the very first definition said, Trish, I know, right? Of course the doorbell rings, because why not test my ability to adapt? That's what I'm learning. So the dictionary definition says, unmerited divine assistance given to humans for their regeneration or sanctification. So right there, unmerited. We're given grace that we don't deserve. Now, I don't want to get into a religious conversation because I respect and honor all of your beliefs, but it is something that I want to just consider and talk about, and you can do this in your own field, right? For me, that brought something up. A virtue coming from God, disposition to or act or instance of kindness, courtesy, or clemency, a charming or attractive trait or characteristic. And that's the one I grew up believing, like, it's so charming and it's very attractive, but not everybody gets it. Or a short prayer at a meal asking for a blessing or giving thanks. Now, I reworked it a little bit and I defined it for myself, okay? So this is my definition of grace. It may resonate with you, it may not, but I'm here to share my messages and tune you into what I'm tuned into, so I feel compelled to share. And so I wrote, grace is a gentleness that permeates the harsh edges of our shadows and fears. Okay? Grace is a gentleness that permeates the harsh edges of our shadows and fears. We show ourselves grace when we forgive ourselves and others. We show ourselves grace when we're kind to ourselves in moments that don't feel good, when we forgive ourselves, when we allow ourselves to express our talents, our gifts, our messages, right? We are showing ourselves grace because we're saying it's safe to be who you are. It's safe to shine your light, and it's safe to share it with the world. And that is part of my definition of showing myself grace. Compassion, forgiveness, kindness. So wherever the edges feel sharp, wherever the edges feel really tight, grace for me comes in and it kind of curves the hard edges and it softens the tightness, and it makes me feel more tender towards myself. And it makes me it makes me activate more empathy, more sympathy towards others, right? And that is how I define not only being graceful, but showing grace to others. And so I read something interesting, and it says when we experience something painful, we tend to call it a mistake. And when we experience something out of the ordinary but good, we tend to call it luck. And things that we like, right, come from grace. They come from up above. Things we don't like, we tend to think come from down below, right? So we have all these paradigms of how good and bad fit into our life. But what if we were graceful enough with our being to understand that all experiences are meant to support us? All experiences are meant to expand us and evolve us and grow us. What if we were graceful enough to allow the magic of the universe, of God, of source, of nature to activate ourselves, to heal our bodies, to change the programming of our minds, to tap into our souls, and naturally, with ease and with flow, bring out our purpose? Because our purpose is supposed to be easy. And why is it supposed to be easy? So that we stick with it, so that we get excited about it, right? But easy doesn't mean without challenge. Easy just means it doesn't feel wrong to us. Easy means that even when it's hard, it feels good. Have you ever had that where, like, if you're a runner, sometimes you hit a threshold and you're like, you know, they call it the runner's high, where you hit a threshold, you're kind of ready to give up, but then you get that adrenaline burst and you're like, this feels good, I'm going to keep going, even though your mind is telling you stop, stop, stop. And so one of the reasons I put a graphic of a red bird, and one of the reasons I'm wearing this lovely Snow White Forest crown on my head is because yesterday I tapped into a little bit of grace, and I want to share the story with you. I was in my backyard and I was having a little bit of anxiety flowing through me, and I have become aware of my anxiety enough to know that there are ways to control my nervous system. There are ways to slow down and let it flow through me without holding on to it. Because what happens with anxiety is you hold on to it, you trap it, right? So it doesn't just flow through you, because once you feel it, you kind of take ownership of it. And so what I've been really working on is, okay, I feel you, I see you. Thank you for the messages that you are currently infusing me with. Could you just please leave the messages, and then I'll let the anxiety exit, right? And so it's a flow, right? And it just goes through your body. And so yesterday, as I was feeling this anxiety, I decided that I needed to physically release it. I wanted to physically kind of let it go. So I stood outside in my backyard and did what looked like a little Tai Chi dance, right? I was just like, and I kept exiting it from my body, breathing and pushing any negative, resistant energy out of my body, while at the same time calling in my power, calling in the magic that I believe that I have, allowing myself, being graceful with myself enough to say, you are magical and it's okay. It's okay to believe it. It's okay to think it. It's okay to be it. It doesn't make you egocentric. It doesn't make you conceited. You are God-made. You are magical. You are powerful. Breathe it in. And so as I did that, I decided that I wanted to, I picked like a little bamboo bush that was directly in front of me in my neighbor's yard, and I decided to like paint my energy with it. So I did this and I painted, and my son's standing there with the dog, and he said, like, what are you doing? Because it probably did look different. And I said, I'm painting my energy red, and I'm painting the mural like this is my life, this is my reality. I am infused with divine potential and power, and I want to see something red right here. And he started laughing, and he was like, yeah, you keep doing that. You do that. And he said it just like that. And did I feel silly? A little bit, right? But there was something in me that just believed it. And I was like, maybe now, maybe later, but I know that I can call it in. I know that I am powerful enough to stand in my truth, to stand in my magic, and let it be. And then we kind of walked away. My neighbor came out into her yard. We talked, and the dog was walking around. And as I'm talking to my neighbor, I hear my son say, "Mom!" And I turn around, and right where I had painted my reality on the wire in front of the bamboo sat a beautiful red cardinal. And it was such a beautiful moment, not only for me, but to have my son present to witness that it's possible, right? And that is where we need to be more graceful with ourselves. We're so worried that someone else is going to judge our magic, or we're so worried that someone's going to judge our desires and our dreams, or is it real or is it not? But the tools I want to give you for today as I wrap up for tuning into grace are as follows, okay? And there's only 3 for today. 1 is connect with nature. And I know that you hear it all the time, and perhaps you think, oh, that's so not a tool, it's cliche. But I would like to offer you one example of how when I'm on my walks, I tune into nature as a tool, not only to connect with the concept of abundance, which we'll talk about tomorrow, but also what I realize is it's an act of grace for myself, right? And as I stood under one tree, so there is one tree on my walk, there are many, but on a particular day, I was standing under one tree that had tiny little leaves. And the tree was pretty massive. So on this massive tree, I thought to myself, can you imagine that there are more leaves on this tree than I would probably be able to count? It would probably take me forever and ever to count the number of leaves just on this tree. And it's one tree of hundreds on my street, which is one of thousands in my city, which is one of millions in my state, which is one of billions in the world. So when you think in terms of how many leaves are there in the world, you begin to tap into the concept of abundance. When you see birds flying and singing and landing, you begin to tap into the grace of God, of life, of breath. You know, we breathe, we stand here alive with breath and with blinking and with saliva and with hearing. You can hear me, you can see me. If you're next to me, you can touch me, you can feel me. There's blood pumping through my body. There's a heart beating in my chest. There's air going through my lungs. And you ask yourself, what is operating? What is the force behind all this? And how unbelievably amazing that I'm part of this force, that I am a being integrated into this life force. And how dare I not show myself grace every moment that I am alive? to know that even my challenges are there to support me, to know that even things that feel scary are meant to grow me, and that we have a world filled with nature to teach us. There's a tree in my yard that is there as a teacher, right? A silent, beautiful teacher. It teaches you how to let go in the fall when the leaves fall off. It teaches you how to regrow. It teaches you how to sow and plant the seeds. All around us, nature connects us to the grace that is built in. And every day as we tune in, I want to remind you that everything you need is built within you, and that people are there to accentuate the experience, right? But you can amplify any frequency or vibration that you so wish. You can amplify any emotion that you want to have, good or bad, because there really is no good or bad. And so one of the ways to amplify grace is to connect with nature. A second way to amplify your grace is to breathe. I know, life-changing, right? But breath is connection, right? No breath, no life. Our breath is what connects us. It's our umbilical cord to this life force. It's that reverb of it's what pushes the vibration out and then calls it back in. It's the exhale and the inhale. Exhale and inhale. Constantly that flow, that wave of energy in and energy out, and energy in and energy out. And when I call the energy in, I can call it in with grace, with intuition, with magic. I can call that energy in and alchemize it with anything I want. And then the wonderful thing is I know that next is an exhale where I can release. I always have the opportunity to inhale and bring it in. And I will always, therefore, if I have the ability to inhale and call in, then I know that the next thing that's coming is the exhale and the push out. Push out the negativity, the resistance, the fear. Not because they don't serve you, but because you've taken the lessons from them. I know what this anxiety came to teach me, and now I release the energy that's trapped inside of me so that I can call in energy that will uplift my soul. And so every time you take a deep breath in and deep breath out, what I want you to remember is that every inhale is an opportunity to call in, and every single exhale is an opportunity to push out, and it's available to you in all single moments of your life. As long as you are breathing, you have an inhale and you have an exhale, and you have new opportunities to reset at every single moment. And last is a little affirmation I want to give you, okay? And this little affirmation says, I do not know exactly what is next, but I am stepping forward with grit and anchoring in grace. I do not know exactly what is next, but I am stepping forward with grit, with desire that is unmatched, right? With that burning in your heart that will not be put out no matter when, why, what, who. And so you have grit, you have resolve, you're stepping forward with all the passion that you can muster. And then you anchor into grace. You anchor into kindness and compassion and empathy and forgiveness and love, which is always available to each and every one of us. So that's my tuned in for today. I hope I helped you tune into your grace. I hope I shared stories that connected you to me and me to you. Please, if you watch this on the replay, let me know that you were here. Tell me where you're from. Tell me your definition of grace, and feel free to rewrite definitions of any words we talk about and share them with me. Before I wrote Reboot Your Life, I was actually working on publishing a dictionary, and I think I'm going to go back to that idea as well. So let me know what your definitions are. Let me know what your meanings are. your reframes, your programs, anything that you want to share. I would love to have you comment and let me know that you were here. I love you guys with all my heart. I love you so much, Patricia. I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And thank you for tuning in to Grace with me today. I will see you all tomorrow. Who knows what kind of hat I'll be wearing? Who knows what I will share with you, but it's all going to be messages that I tune into so that I give you the highest quality content. I love you so much. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow here at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Bye, everybody.